Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Peter coming at you through the tubes of the internet. Today, taking a look at the latest release from Lucy Dacus, an album called Home Video. I'm excited to discuss and glad you could join.
Fast facts.
Home Video, released June 25th, 2021 via Matador Records, is the third studio LP from Philly-based singer-songwriter Lucy Dacus. This is Dacus' solo project where she performs guitar and, of course, lead vocals.
Backstory.
Over the past half-decade, Lucy Dacus has released 2 studio albums featuring her trademark witty and heartfelt lyricism, delivered via styles ranging from intimate acoustic tunes to dramatic arena rockers. In the years leading up to this latest record, Dacus joined top singer-songwriters Phoebe Bridgers and Julian Baker for the release of their supergroup Boy Genius EP, and she compiled a series of covers and originals themed around holidays for her 2019 EP. Lucy is a recent transplant to Philadelphia, but this latest album, Home Video, mostly takes a look back at her upbringing in the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia. Nostalgic staples like summer camps, sleepovers, and sneaking out of the house feature prominently in the lyrics, as Dacus uses the home video theme to create intimate snippets of relationships that play out like movie scenes from her formative years. The songwriting chops on display throughout the album are pretty exceptional, and lyrics strike the perfect balance between a playful sense of humor and devastating emotional weight. I think Dacus' sound has been evolving toward what's presented on this record, and it ends up being something really special.
Track-by-track analysis.
This album has 11 tracks and clocks in at 45 minutes. Lucy employs lots of different instrumental approaches on the record, so even though several tunes crack the 4-minute mark, they almost never overstay their welcome. She uses the longer runtimes to build compelling stories in her lyricism, and often saves cool audio production choices for late in the tunes where they have more punch. As a result, I think this runtime works great.
Track 1, Hot and Heavy.
Being back here makes me hot in the face.
Dacus establishes the nostalgic tone of the record right from the jump here by setting the album's first lines in the basement of a childhood friend's home and describing the libidinal rush of blood that memory evokes. Swelling synth tones give way to a jaunty pop instrumental as Lucy details a former partner going from sheltered and overprotected to bursting out of their metaphorical shell. I think this song works great as both an opener and an early single. Its upbeat and breezy style gets the momentum going, but it still drills down into the record's broader themes, like lost loves and struggles with self-confidence. A good pick to start with here that lays the foundation for weightier tunes to come.
Track 2, Christine.
You're falling asleep on my shoulder.
This track's plinking piano notes and light guitar strumming contrast with the bubbly quality of the previous song, as Dacus reflects on a friend selling herself short in a relationship, feeling unworthy and settling for a less than ideal partner. Lucy uses this tune as an intervention, essentially begging her friend.
Love you so.
And I think it's really cool the way Dacus shows a rift forming between the pair, demonstrating them drawing apart via the clever production choice on the line.
That's where we disagree.
By the end of the cut, Dacus is built to an ultimatum, where if her friend follows through in marrying this undeserving partner, she'd object to the wedding, cause a scene, and try to stop the proceedings. It really shows that this friendship is something enduring and special, and I think it's a great tune because of it.
You always wanted to raise a baby.
Track 3, First Time.
The quick and snappy drums throughout this tune give a driving march quality, and as the title implies, Lucy uses this indie rock setup to reminisce about an early sexual experience. The carnal animal imagery of the first verse, paired with the awkward moments recalled in the second, make this storytelling feel really earnest and relatable, but overall this tune didn't really do it for me. This isn't the longest song on the record, but it's the only one that feels a little too long in my opinion. The lack of progression in the instrumental, combined with the repetitive chorus lines, makes this cut feel slightly one note, and it's probably my least favorite on the release.
Track 4, VBS.
In the summer of 07, I was sure I'd go to heaven.
Here, Dacus crafts a tune about her Christian upbringing, set at a vacation Bible school sleepaway camp, where she's surrounded by the extreme corniness inherent in trying to make religion seem cool to kids. But that tedium is broken up by a mysterious bad boy who's trying to get a buzz off improvised drugs and burying personal trauma deep within his core. Dacus hits it off with this rebellious partner, but in the end, her influence isn't enough to exorcise the demons of his home life. He's haunted by memories of an abusive and suicidal father that can only be kept at bay by mind-numbing metal riffs.
Playing Slayer at full volume helps.
I love the blasting, distorted guitars Lucy drops into the track to match this concept, and it's a cool diversion from the otherwise kind of run-of-the-mill indie instrumental.
Track 5, Cartwheel.
Here and there and gone again. Firefly juice on your skin.
Lucy's been quoted in interviews saying she doesn't want to be pigeonholed into the Americana genre like she sees happen to so many other female singer-songwriters. But on this cut, she fully embraces that sound and hunkers down into the genre's conventions. A bouncing and rhythmic delivery, paired with buttery vocal melody layers, are a natural fit for her voice, and the looping, plucky guitar notes tie in with the Cartwheel theme well. 5 tunes in, Dacus starts slowing things down for the record's emotional second act, and this is a pretty heavy cut lyrically. We meet a character in ill-fitting hand-me-down clothes, glowing green with lightning bug juice, who's calling Lucy from a hall closet worried about her own untimely death. The final verse tells of a pact the pair had made to run away together and live out their days in an idyllic fairy tale cabin in the woods, but that didn't play out as imagined, and the betrayal Dacus feels has her longing for a black hole to end it all.
Felt my body crumple to the floor. Betrayal like I'd never felt before.
Track 6, Thumbs.
You hung up the phone and I asked you what was wrong.
Using only droning synth tones as a backing instrumental, Dacus' vocal takes center stage on this cut, and she delivers a commanding performance of some really gut-wrenching lyricism. The track tells the story of a meetup between a friend and their estranged father, and though things are kept congenial enough during the initial verse, where the trio join at a bar for drinks and small talk, by the time the chorus hits, it becomes clear that peace was never an option in Lucy's mind. The palpable tension in the air is broken when Dacus essentially says, "Fuck this, I'll just off this guy."
I would kill him if you let me.
Rather than have her friend plagued by the looming dread this father figure brings, Lucy would just assume eliminate him from the picture altogether, severing the hereditary ties that bond them together, which she uses as clever wordplay late in the cut. The breathless way Dacus sings about her violent fantasies here really brings a dramatic flair to the tune, and this is one of my favorite songs of the year. Truly exceptional cut.
I imagine my thumbs on the irises pressing in until they burst.
Track 7, Going, Going, Gone.
Daniel made a pass. We started flirting after class.
Crossing the album's halfway point, Dacus opts for another raw, bare-bones setup, where room sounds and tape crackle give a warm, cozy vibe. Simplistic verses about the character Daniel get at the naivety of young love and highlight the cyclical nature of growing up and repeating the same loop generation after generation. Daniel's verses bookend my favorite section of the song, where Lucy likens the son to a petulant child, fighting tooth and nail to stay up past its bedtime, and she uses really vibrant color words to describe going red-faced and waging a bloody battle, before finally giving in and fading to black. Choruses feature syrupy, sweet gang vocals, with cameos from Mitski, Doe Eyes, Boy Genius, and many others, who give the track a campfire sing-along feel. That laid-back familial vibe works perfectly, and this is another of my favorite tunes on the release.
Going down.
Track 8, Partner in Crime.
When I asked you to coffee, could you tell I don't drink it?
As if intended to be the exact opposite of the previous cut, this tune uses robotic auto-tune throughout to give an unnatural vibe. Chorus lines implement that effect to create a mind-numbing quality as Dacus repeats, "Do you love me not?" with each repetition becoming increasingly synthetic sounding and just kinda off. And that sort of phony quality in the instrumentals matches the lies and deceit found in the lyrics. This is a long song and it takes a bit to hit its stride. I could take or leave the first couple minutes, but once the tune reaches its halfway point, tons of cool sounds enter the mix and I think it becomes really interesting. A blown ass out fuzzy guitar shreds the solo as Dacus mentions getting vertigo, and its shrill tone is a perfect communication of that unsettling, sickly feel. Booming percussion closes the tune, and this track gets some really discordant sounds to work surprisingly well together. The music does a good job of reiterating the lyrical themes, and it's very cool stuff.
Track 9, Brando.
You told me to skip school to go with you to the movies.
Throughout the record, Lucy's used the home video theme to craft intimate, personal stories, but the character feature here is basically the antithesis of that concept, swapping the organic home video quality for highly produced Hollywood fiction. Brando is a bubbly, upbeat tune that uses witty wordplay calling out classic films, as this character struggles to create a personality out of movie quotes instead of actually connecting on a personal level. Although the pair bond over going on little outings and adventures together, they never really make a deeper emotional connection. I think the way Dacus turns the album's concept on its head here is really clever, and it's a good poppy pick-me-up cut before the last couple heavy hitters close the record. Great tune.
All I need for you to admit is that you never knew me like you thought you did.
Track 10, Please Stay.
Your clothes in the dryer, your hair on the shower wall.
Lucy starts and ends this song using a laundry list format, spending the opening minute detailing a series of items laying around her house. The initial verses don't exactly let on what the stakes are here. The first almost just sounds like a messy roommate, but by the halfway point of the song, it becomes clear that Please Stay is shorthand for Please Stay Alive. Once that revelation drops, Dacus goes back to listing, but this time it's all the steps her partner could take to hang in there. Basically saying whatever you need to do to feel better, do it. Go to any extreme necessary, change your life completely, but just continue living.
Call me if you need a friend, or never talk to me again.
Phoebe and Julian feature again here, and the reunited trio give a pretty towering performance, begging together for this character to hang on. It's a fittingly powerful tune to start wrapping up this emotional album, and it's just an awesome song.
But please stay.
Track 11, Triple Dog Dare.
I'm not tired yet.
On this epic closer, Dacus starts small musically, layering on instruments one by one over the course of the 7-minute runtime. Some are subtle, like the gentle chimes that enter the mix as Lucy opens the door to a carryout, and some are chaotic, like the screeching guitar tones under the repeated title line in the finale. But all the elements work together to build to a really monumental cut. Throughout the record, Dacus has detailed various relationships with male partners, but this is the first time she's clearly singing about a same-sex love interest. Initially, the pair appear standoffish and shy about their feelings for each other, and that's further complicated by parents conspiring to keep them apart. But as the tune plays out, it becomes undeniable to these characters that they need to be with one another, and thus they form a pact to basically ride off into the sunset together. I think the song works so well because there's just really sweet and endearing qualities about the relationship it conveys. From the way the pair fight sleep to have more time together early in the track, to the survivalist roles each takes to forge their new life together. The love story at the core of this tune carries the track. There's a huge amount of heart here, and it makes for a great closer.
Verdict.
Overall, I love this album. Dacus steadily dials up the emotional punch across the record's runtime and has the songwriting chops to pull the listener deep into all the scenes she creates. The musical production consistently rises to the high standards she set with the storytelling, and both aspects play off each other perfectly. For that reason, I'm going to give this release a score of 9.5 out of 10.
Go back to school, go back to sleep. Tell the secret you can't keep.
So that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on the record. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the release, my critique, or the review format in general. Making this is a lot of work, but also fun, and definitely worth it if it helps some people wrap their head around the record. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.